Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review, and this is the last video in the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Avengers Endgame Bro Thor Build-A-Figure wave. We are going to be putting Thor together, the Fat Thor, Bro Thor, Thor Lebowski, and then as a little treat, I'm also going to be putting one of these heads on this Infinity War Thor. Now this is not just any regular Infinity War Thor. This is the one from the UK or international exclusive Best of 2018 wave. So this one actually comes with the unhelmeted Thanos head. So that first Thanos Build-A-Figure, MCU Thanos, I should point out. So this is the smiling face one with that correct lighter skin tone, unlike the one that was in the first Build-A-Figure. So this one came with the head. That other Thor figure came with a different body part. I don't even remember, but, you know, remember Thor went for the head. So this actually could make a very perfect Endgame Thor, to where at the beginning of the movie he chops off Thanos' head. So that's going to be pretty cool. So I'm actually going to be using this Thor for one of those Thor heads, and that's going to be close enough, or the closest that we'll get to a final battle Thor, unless you go the figure outs way and whatnot, but that's too much. But let's build this Thor right here. Okay, and I always build on camera, so we'll always start. I always like to start with the torso. I'm going to get the robe out of the way. Let's go with the legs. So I got the left leg. We're going to plug that in. This seems like a very short Thor. That wasn't straight. That should be straight there. Getting that to line up. Yeah, this is. I think this is going to be a very, very short Thor. This figure, I could already tell, it's kind of weird in how it's going to be. So there's that. Then we'll get the robe on so we can put the arms on. Oh, and get the hood should go over the robe, right? And that helps keep it in place as well. Okay, so we have left arm. I'm gonna attempt to plug it in there and do it unsuccessfully. Okay, got it. You're not gonna really hear it click in like you do with some of the Build-A-Figures. Some of the parts of some Build-A-Figures, so port that one in there. Get that one in. I can't tell if I got it in all the way. Yeah, that's in, and then we're gonna go with the sunglasses head for now, I guess. And there is Thor, and who would have thought that, you know, we would get this version of Thor? I think we all wanted a Fat Thor, but you know, this is the version of Fat Thor that we got. So it would have been nice to have the final battle armor and everything, but it is what it is. So I'll also be taking a look at a comparison between the Stormbreakers, because again, the Stormbreakers are different. This is a brand new one, and again, I don't like the way this one is, even though I guess technically the handle is more film accurate to be Groot's arm. You know, without having the string or the band that wraps around it, whatever. I'm just not as big a fan of this, but let's get in closer and take a look at Thor. Okay, so here's a close-up look, and this thing actually looks pretty good. I like the way the hair is sculpted, and I like the color of the hair. You know, we get some of the brown and the blondish color to give it that realistic look, so I like that Hasbro did that. This one has sunglasses, so you can kind of lift it up, and that you can see he does have the digital face print, very similar to this one. I'm not sure if there's actually any difference in the head sculpt at all, but these sunglasses are kind of stuck on there. You're not really going to be able to pull them out unless you kind of break the glue from it. That's not something I'm going to do. I am going to leave this figure displayed like this, and then I again will be putting this one onto the Infinity War Thor. And then as you can look closely, and it's hard, I don't think I'm going to be able to get in close enough to tell. The eyes are two different colors. So the one with the scar, the one that he lost in Ragnarok, and then he got the fake one from Rocket in Infinity War, you could tell that the two eyes are different colors. So, you know, at least they hit the mark there. Looks pretty good. Paint apps, there's not a whole lot. You know, you get some different color hands because he's wearing gloves, obviously, compared to the sleeve. Really, the only paint apps throughout the rest of the figure you're going to get in these pants. And I don't remember if the pants, if that was just a crap design of pajama pants. But, I mean, you would think there'd be smooth lines or, you know, clear lines and not just whatever that is, but you know, I guess pajama pants doesn't really matter how they end up looking. So if that's how they looked in the film, okay. I like cleaner lines, not this fuzzy line look. but it's just okay. This thing's going to be pretty lacking in articulation once we get to there, but overall, you know, it doesn't look terrible. It's just, it's not a preferred choice. Now, I'm not mad at it, you know, it is what it is. But of course, you know, Final Battle would have been pretty cool, but it's still a nice touch that we get something crazy like this. So let's look at his articulation. Actually, sorry, before we get to the articulation, he does have one additional interchangeable part. This goes to his left hand because this has the time travel GPS thing that Tony created. This is what controls them going and coming back and where to go and whatnot. We don't know exactly how that works, but you know, it's what Tony had figured out, so you just swap it out and you can have that. So that could be, you know, different scenes, like when he's actually in Asgard. This would kind of be it, you know, when he's got Rocket with him, stuff like that. So that's what that one is for. Okay, so for articulation for Thor, and that's going to be kind of hard because of, you know, all the things that he's got going on. So he can look down that much that way. Oops. Getting them to look back is going to be a little bit of a challenge because you're going to end up popping that off. So the way the hood is, the hair's got to go over that, so that kind of causes some problems. It moves around, the hair moves with it, so you can get them to look up that much. So that's actually pretty good. You just want to do it a little bit slower than I was trying to do it. Get a full rotation in the head, of course, and you do actually get some really good head pivot in there. The shoulders can go up that high, which is really good. Full rotation there, of course. There is a swivel inside of the sleeve a little bit there, and then you actually do get a double jointed elbow, but you're not going to get full use of that elbow because the design of the sleeve, so you can see the arm goes into it a little bit, and that's where that ports into this upper arm. So even though again it has double elbow, you're not going to get full use out of it because it's just going to get in the way with that sleeve. The wrist swivel, there is a hinge. This one is more of a roll of the dice motion here, whereas the other hand actually has the same roll of the dice hinge on it as well, which I guess makes sense for when you have somebody that's going to be using an axe, even though in this look he doesn't use the axe at all. There's no ab crunch. There is a diaphragm joint, so trying to work it, it's a little bit tricky when he has the robe, so he's kind of tilted to the side that way. We can tilt him to the other side a little bit, and he's not really getting a whole lot of movement in there. You can get him to go back a little bit, but with the way this robe is, you're just not going to get a lot of motion in there. I can't even get it to come forward, and then the sculpted pocket of the hoodie, it doesn't go into that diaphragm because it's kind of tough. So this is actually a rubber piece over a different piece, so that's why it kind of has the hanging down look, so you can see it's kind of rubbery. So that's causing a lot of hindrance in the articulation there. So I'll take off the robe, actually with the arms not on it. Really can't get the arms off. If you work, I'll work the robe off and then I'll try to show you the articulation in that ab. Legs go very far apart though, so he can do the splits if you really wanted to. He can kick up forward pretty high. He can go back a little bit, but again, the robe is going to get in the way. Upper thigh cut where the leg comes together. You have a single jointed elbow, which you're only going to get that much of a bend, but he is kind of a lazy guy in this look, so really all he's going to be doing is sitting down anyway, and he'll be able to do that. Then there is a hinge on the foot that doesn't do much. You're only going to get that much motion. A little bit of pivot in there. It's because the ankle is into the pant leg, so there's just no movement going on in there whatsoever. So it is a very limited figure, but off camera, let me remove the robe, and that way I could better show you the diaphragm movement. Okay, and I did forget to mention that with the single knee, there is actually a swivel at the knee. But anyway, so I took the robe off so you can kind of see the motion. So there's the standard standing pose. Going back is hardly anything at all. Going forward is hardly anything at all. The pivot to the side is very minimal. Pivot to the other side is very minimal. So this thing is just no good. They just should have sculpted it all just one piece, and then it would have been fine because it wasn't going to move around anyway. Look at the legs coming off. So that's it for the articulation. Again, very limited. Now let's see him compared to the Infinity War Thor and then put this head on that other body. And so here is the best of Infinity War Thor. That was the international exclusive. Here is the regular release with the Thor Build-A-Figure Wave here in the US. You can see they are the exact same. There are no changes between the figure whatsoever. So I'm just going to get that out of the way. And then here you can see, again, this was always kind of an oversized figure in my opinion, especially the head, even though I do think it is a great figure. Then we look at Thor here. The skin tone's a little bit different. He's a little bit more tan, the fat Thor. So we're going to see if that head works. I know it's not going to be accurate because in the movie, you know, he had the braided hair, the braided beard and stuff like that. But it's close enough. Let's see. I've seen lots of pictures. I just don't know if it fits in perfectly. Oh yeah, it just pops right on in there. So there it is. And you know what? It's close. It's better than nothing. So I'm happy that we got 2 head sculpts for this guy. It's, you know, it's just one of those things. It sits a little high because, you know, you shouldn't really be able to see his neck because of the beard. But you know what? It works. I think it's better than nothing. I think I will include it in my display like this just because. Why not? And then also, you know, we got the smiling Thanos head. So the 3-pack that had Doctor Strange and Iron Man, you know, it was the updated correct Thanos, but it didn't have a smiling head sculpt. This one does have a smiling head sculpt now. So I'm going to pop it onto the Thanos Build-A-Figure from Endgame, because most of that final battle he's not wearing the helmet anyway. And it just kind of sits in there. Oh, he's a little tall. And I think that actually works out pretty good. But, you know, in Endgame, I don't think he actually smiled at any point. But that actually works out very well, so I like that. Now let's see the comparison between the Stormbreakers. Okay, so here is the new Stormbreaker. So for whatever reason, there's lots of silver going on over the handle over here, when I think that should all be a wood look. I'm not sure why it's that way. I think they just went way too heavy on this side. On this side, it's not nearly as much. You see a lot of the good browns kind of going over that axe portion there. But this side just, I think, looks terrible, and kind of underneath just really doesn't look good. So here is the one from Infinity War. And again, this handle wasn't accurate. So whatever these bands are that are around it, that was not actually the case for the movie, because it came from Groot's arm. And you could see only a couple of pieces holding that axe portion. So for whatever reason, they thought to change it just to make it, I guess, accurate. The axe itself is actually smaller, the handle is much thinner, and they actually stand at about the same height, which, again, I don't understand what the reasoning behind that was in making it smaller, because in the movie it was actually much larger. You know, it stood up to where, you know, here it's only going up to, you know, barely hits his waist. It should sit a little bit higher, you know, the way it was, because, you know, Thor at one point was kind of leaning on it while he was standing, and then this just doesn't really cut it. It's just, it's too small. And then I like the silver color that they used here, and it had a little bit of a shine to it, whereas this one's more of a silver color. I think the old one looks much better, but it is what it is. So for whatever reason, Hasbro thought to change it, and in my opinion, they went backwards and didn't make it as good. And so just to kind of create the look, here he is holding Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, lightning coming down for his transformation. And here he is in his final transformation. I think, again, I think it's just good enough. Okay, so that is the Bro Thor figure review. Again, I think it's just an okay figure. It's a very interesting choice that we got. It is a nice collection to any MCU figure collection, but again, Final Battle Thor would have been much better. So now I'll just kind of rate the figures in the wave. So a couple of disappointments and a couple of good ones. I'm not going to include the Build-A-Figure in the ranking, because I don't think it's fair for most Build-A-Figures. This one is basically a normal figure, so I guess it probably would be fair. You know, I nitpicked at the Iron Man, but it's my favorite figure in the wave. Heimdall is going to be my second. I nitpicked that figure also, but it's still a good figure. So that'll be number 2. Number 3, Valkyrie. Number 4, Vision. Number 5, Iron Patriot. Number 6, Captain America. If I were to include the Thor, he'd probably be after Valkyrie. So then it'd be Iron Man, Heimdall, Valkyrie, Thor, Vision, Iron Patriot, Captain America. I don't like that Captain America figure. If you guys watch the review, you know I just really, really don't like it for whatever reason. But there it is. So here is the Build-A-Figure wave. This is only the second Marvel Legends wave to be all MCU movie figures. The first one being the Black Panther Wave 2, the M'Baku Build-A-Figure wave. So this is our second. I know lots of people don't like that when it's all movie figures. For me, I love it. More movie figures, the better. For me, the merrier. I still enjoy the comic figures, but the MCU ones are really what it's all about for me. That's what really kick-started my collection. That's where my passion gets the priority. But again, I enjoy all Marvel Legends. But here it is. You guys let me know down in the comments below, how would you rank all these figures? And then also, if you guys liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.